That can't be good. We'll paint on the track. That'll do it. Yeah, gotta have your coffee when you're out working on the trains, you know, or beer, depending on the time of day. All right, I'm gonna get started working on this section here. Just thought I'd run that little Sperry school bus on rails. And it got stuck because I'm painting the tracks over here where I'm working. So this, I'll try to get to comments, but I want to kind of show you some things here. So I'll come back and scroll through comments. It looks like we got 10 of you online, so I'll kick it off. And thanks for dialing in, spending some of your Sunday with me. I hope you had a great holiday. We had our adult kids here from different parts of the country/world, so it was a pretty special time. But back to empty nesters, so back to the trains. So this section here, if you've been watching the channel, you remember there was just a little section that came out that had these two tracks, the main line and this, which is a maintenance away siding off the main. And there was nothing here, there was nothing here. So I filled it in with a lot of carpentry, and I don't, to be honest, I don't enjoy that part of the hobby. Once it's set up, it's fun because you can start to detail and lay track, and that's the part I like. So, but yeah, so let me just show you what I did under here. Oh yeah, it's this section here was just like a plywood box that I first put out as an extension. I just kind of bolted it on here, and I had it hanging off the tool shelf over here. So it was really just a quick and easy way for me to get an extension to the main line so I can do longer cuts of cars. And eventually, mostly through the nudging of my subscribers, I just filled the whole section in. So based off of that, I built out framing, excuse me, and it was a little tricky because you could see I have a plug socket there, so I had to do the framing so that it stopped short of the wall, so I could still, I didn't want to move the plug socket. I hate doing that kind of stuff if I ever move the layout. And the legs and pretty much the way I've designed the framing, it's pretty simple. It's just pine, and, you know, I didn't need nothing real heavy. And I modeled it after what I use, which is, I use Seaver's Benchwork for the main layout. That extension over there is just shelving that I built out of plywood, and I bolted it to the concrete block wall, which is behind the sheetrock. So that yard is just hanging. It's a floating shelf, and this initial section is Seaver's Benchwork, and I just used that there, kind of copied their leg design so that it all kind of looks the same. Basically, they just put a cross. Hold on a second. Yeah, they just put a cross member at the bottom of the legs. and then the legs are bolted in here behind the fascia. So, hold on. What in the hell is this? I'm using this gimbal, and it's obviously, it's probably better to do this by hand because this gimbal is finicky, or I don't know how to use it. But anyway, that gives you an idea of what I did to extend that section that I'm going to be working on today. So you can see here where it's the masonite, which is the base I use for everything, is all new here. So I didn't want to rip these tracks up, so I had to kind of put it together like a puzzle, put plywood and masonite in this section where it was just empty, and then the same thing back here. And it goes all the way to the wall, the plywood and the masonite. And the framing is somewhere short of the wall so that plug socket isn't getting blocked. So the thought process on this end of the layout is I've got a lot of industry already on the layout. So I've got these two here, corn syrup, cold storage, and distribution. Engine facility to do switching in and out of there. I've got the print and publishing facility. I've got the largest one on the layout, which is the food plant, which has 3 different car spots. They all have multiple spots. And then now with a new extension, I've got a couple of car spots at a scrapyard, and I've got a couple of car spots back here at the steel plant, which this little engine is not supposed to be at the steel plant. It's supposed to be over here because I wasn't paying attention. And that's why I have this red light here, because it's not a line for the main, and it should be a line for the main. When you're running that thing in automatic, it's running off that Motorman automated back and forth train shuttler by Iowa Skilled Engineering. Yeah, so then I've got this building here that's got 2 spots. And then, since I have a lot of industry, for this layout, for me, I could spend hours out here and not finish switching. I get a lot of comments about, wouldn't you want to have a bigger layout, or why not a runaround layout? Nothing wrong with that, to each his own. But I found that with that extension and now this new extension, there's more than enough. Even for, if you get 4 guys here, you could spend several hours. If you got an engineer and a conductor for CSX and an engineer and a conductor for this whole P&W industry area, you can spend a few hours at least with 4 guys. And I usually just operate on my own. Occasionally I'll have people over, but so where I was going with that is I have so many industries. I thought, well, if I've got this other end of the layout, it's a 24-foot section. I'm going to do something a little different. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make this really the maintenance away area. So the off the main line, and this would be P&W, they have a track that, in theory, it continues on a little longer past where the layout ends, but it's a maintenance away siding. And we've got a couple of buildings, some old buildings. I'll have like a faded out Conrail logo there that's kind of washed over and maybe P&W painted on top. And these are 2 buildings that Roy Sharp, who I featured on my channel, he made these for me and sent them over from the UK. So awesome guy, and check out his channel. I listed on my several of my videos. It's Coronation and Thorndike is the railroad, and I can't off the top of my mind remember the YouTube channel name, but I could put that in the comments. Anyway, he had these 2 buildings made from scratch, and they're perfect for a little maintenance away facility. So the idea is you got a lot of stuff will be going on here. It's a mess right now, but I'm going to have piles of old ties stacked up. I'm going to have piles of new ties, and then back here I'll have piles of ballast, different colors of ballast. There'll be a parking lot here where you'll see maintenance away vehicles. I'll have this, maybe some other maintenance away gear. And then this becomes a switching opportunity. You can, in between switching industries, you can take out the maintenance away train and have that do its assignments and then come back and then let the other trains do their switching. A couple of points. This is the one that Justin, who's on, oh boy, I gotta fix that. Well, I don't have to fix it, I just have to glue it. Justin, who's on Facebook, who makes these OTM trackers. Justin Ernest. I put his on there. I used to have mine, the one that I scratch built, which, I like it. It's, I made it out of styrene, and just show it to you. I mean, it functions. It slides. Hell, it used to slide. Let me put this thing down. This is where when my son was here, I posted a video recently, a few days ago, an overview of the layout. And I had my son do the camera work, and it's a heck of a lot easier. Yeah. So it slides on the beams there. It's all styrene. It's got these wiggle back and forth so you can align it on top of the gondola. And it's just one of these out-of-the-box die-cast, HO scale die-cast excavators with the claw on the end. You can get those on Amazon. I like the way it came out, but I built it before I was able to get Justin to make one because he's usually pretty backlogged. And then as I looked at the two, I thought, you know what, his actually has got better detail, so I'm just gonna keep his on there. Also, it's a little smaller because the detail is actually true to scale. It's got the hydraulic lines on it. Only thing I'll say is it's really fragile. I mean, mine, I've dropped mine, and it's because it's die cast and it's pretty heavy styrene. It's pretty durable, which this one is not really made to handle because I've already broken a few pieces off it. But it's got little steps that could fold down. It's got the little rubber hoses. So it's definitely one just for aesthetics. You don't want to mess with it too much, but I think it looks good. Maybe occasionally I'll change them out, but for now I'm going to keep his. When he sent it to me, he accidentally sent me one that was branded Union Pacific, so I just wet the decals and pulled them off. Doesn't really need to have railroad name on it. So I already had that car, and I had this car here that I scratch built with a bunch of crap on it. Some old ties, rails, everything strapped down with chains, extra parts for the excavator. So figured need a home for those things, and it'll be there, and this will be the facility that serves those cars. And then what I did here, if I move my Juggo coffee, is the ADM plant. I figured make it look better if I just extend it just a hair so that it goes over the edge of where the new section comes in. So I'll just extend this fencing, go around that, and it'll allow me to make this the road for ADM to actually come out further, so I can I've got another truck here. And then back here, since I now have the space on the other side of the main, I decided rather than putting another industry, because again, I've got enough, I need some dead space. So this backdrop is not glued on there, but it comes from a disc, a DVD that I had. And it's nice because it has a parking lot and guardrail on it, which I'm going to blend into the actual layout. And then I'll extend this building out with, it won't be a wall with windows like this, it'll just be a blank wall. And then what'll be on this side will be one bay for a tractor trailer. So it'll be kind of set in, have one tractor trailer bay, a little area to park next to it. And then this is a parking lot for the employees. And I made these out of styrene and jewelry parts, little parking lights. They've got micro LEDs, and I've got these little wheel stops. So this will be a paved parking lot. It'll be lighted with these. I'll also put there's going to be a man door here, and I'll have a light over that. I've got a signal light here, which has been disconnected, but that, as the train enters this block of the main, it turns from green to red. So there's a lot of lighting going on here, which will be nice. And then we'll have, because oftentimes we just, because vehicles are so expensive, we tend not to buy too many of them, but we also I'd say we as model railroaders, we tend to underrepresent vehicles. So I want to have more, and they're not cheap, but as I get them, I'll have several cars parked here. In this area, I'm going to have maintenance away trucks as well as, employee vehicles. So there'll be a lot of dirt road, but there'll also be some spots to park. And back there, it'll be paved parking. All right. George is leaving. Thanks for joining, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's Sunday. I didn't expect a lot of guys to jump on, but since I was going to be out here, I thought I'd go live. We got a train stuck on the road here. I don't know why that happened. Yeah, so back to the lights. So I was talking about the street lights back here. The light that'll be over the door. This thing I scratch built. It's hard to get this thing to focus because when you're live, the camera doesn't seem to behave the same as when you're not. But it's just a tapered piece of bamboo, and scraped it up and stained it. And these are made of styrene. See if we can focus on it. I guess we can't. Well, anyway, they have lights and they've got lenses, so that'll light up this yard. Got a little light here that I made. This made several years ago. It's actually brass. I bent the brass, and this is just an earring backer. So it's brass, and then the brass piping increases in size in steps. And funny is, I made it for my N scale layout back when I had an N scale, and because it was meant to be large, to be over like a rail yard, but it works perfectly for kind of it'll light up this area. This will be fenced in with a little gate, and then this lights up this area. And then this one I made also using brass parts, and I don't even remember what that is. Some other jewelry piece for a lens. So a road, solder everywhere. A road's going to come in here. It's going to have a street light. It'll kind of evaporate into a dirt lot for all the vehicles, and then a paved road will pick up again here, which will go into the ADM facility. And this building is lighted. It will be lighted. And inside it has quite a bit of detail, which I can't really show you because I can't open it, but you can only really see it when it's lighted. But Roy, who built this, put a real cool stuff. There's like a desk in there. There's chairs. There's a first aid kit on the wall. So it looks like a proper railroad building. So it's going to be a lot of vehicles and place to switch maintenance away, extension of that cold storage facility, and gives you an opportunity to have 2 more cars to switch or to run around the layout, those 2 maintenance away. Let's get that thing out of the way. It worked that time, so I guess the paint's getting scraped off the track. So yeah, that thing will just run back and forth for as long as you want it to. It's kind of keeps me company when I'm working out here. Or any train. I actually have done this where I take an engine and I'll hook it up to the maintenance away, and I'll take my Conrail caboose, which is lighted, and I'll run that back and forth on the layout as if it's a maintenance away crew kind of doing their thing. And then the third thing that I run with that automator is this one that I posted a video recently on this. This is a Proto 1000 New Haven RDC, obviously. And I put an ESU decoder. It was the first time I did a decoder myself. Honestly, it took me a while, but once you do it, you learn. And it's just, you can watch a million YouTube videos and read about it, but you got to at some point roll up your sleeves, take out the soldering iron, and go for it. And I'm glad I did. I mean, I fine-tuned it 2 times at least, but I got it finally working. There's some LED lighting inside where I put some people. And then this was also a first on airbrush weathering for me. So I finally faced my fears with an airbrush, and I'm happy with it. It's not, obviously for those of you who are pros at this, it probably looks like crap, but I just wanted the light dusting and diesel exhaust on top. So now at least I can, I did practice a little bit on some box cars and whatnot, but I do better if I take something like this where I spent money on it and I put a decoder in it, and if I screw it up, I'll really be angry with myself. So I put a little pressure on myself by airbrushing a good engine rather than a crappy one, and it seemed to work. So I'll get to weathering other things, and I'll do videos on that once I consider myself good enough to show anything, but right now, still a beginner at weathering. So what I'm going to do today, and I won't keep the live stream for all this because I'll bore you guys, but I'll do posts on it. I've got it. I told you I'm going to put a gate around here. Oh, sorry. One other thing I forgot to mention. Well, because I'm extending this building, I thought I'd also extend this siding for the distribution of cold storage. And why? Because I'm going to make this an overgrown, almost abandoned section of track, and I'm going to put gates on the back end of the fence here. So you could actually throw an extra car there, so this industry could have 3 cars. So let's say the railroad had an empty or even a full car that they wanted to get out of the way, so they could switch the doors. They have an opportunity to open those back gates and push it out there. So it really makes this industry bigger by a 3rd car. So it's a holding track. But I'm going to do a lot of static grass and just make it look pretty grungy, similar to what I did over down here in this end. Yeah, Cato. That's what I use. I just got a comment. Cato, N-scale Cato or Cato track layout would be nice. The one that I had, there's a video of it on my channel. I don't know if a year or 2 old, but it was all Cato track. Yeah, I agree with that comment. We don't need a helix to have fun with these layouts. I mean, it's nice if you got the room and the money. I just, damn it, I didn't set that switch again. Sorry. Darn it, I didn't set that switch. Gotta pay attention. Why is it not going in the right? Just what? Because I didn't have the switch right, that's why. Gosh. Forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, I don't need a helix. I've got this light balance, and even my son, when are you gonna put trains up there? Never. I use it as a place to display things, and actually this is the founder of trains.com. They sent me that. That was kind of cool. So he's up there with a excavator, some extra cars. My daughter gave me a toy truck, so I put that up there. But no, I mean, to me, I mean, I've got a yard from CSX, and that there's plenty of cars. I mean, this isn't even as many cars as it could hold. Yeah, that is a mini Prince, I think. Someone's of the trains owner. You know, they do the laser scan, and then they actually do your mini me. I love mini Prince. This is something different. I use regular old styrofoam for the top of this one. Where I always used to use this blue foam from Lowe's, but the cost difference. I mean, this stuff's white. I don't really care what it looks like underneath because it's just there to reflect light. So it's just an idea if you're doing a valance. So I was talking about the valance because somebody chimed in about, you don't necessarily need a helix. I just think there's enough going on here for me, for a guy my age and as much money as I want to spend on a layout and my goals, which is to be able to operate from one railroad, which is CSX, and interchange with another railroad, which is Providence to Worcester, with quite a few industries. There's tons of stuff to do. If I had a helix and another layer or another level, I don't think I'd have time, one, to detail it all, and two, I would definitely not have time to take advantage of all the operational opportunities. So it's all what you want to do. If you want to have 5 guys coming over every night to operate, then that's awesome. If you have the space, but I've used all the space I really can in the garage, and it's not because I'm constrained. It's because this is as much space that I really wanted for a layout. This last extension was it. I thought, well, okay, cool. Now I have something a little different. It's not industry per se. If anything, if I had more space, I would add just dead space, like a extension of the main with trees around it. But yeah, my goal is to be able to operate the trains and spend a lot of time doing very realistic operations. So you're moving slow, you're stopping, you're taking time to unhitch the air hoses, you're opening gates, you're opening derailleurs. That's the enjoyable part. I had, back in the day, I had Lionel trains. I used to enjoy going in circles and listening to the loud clatter of the trains, but I guess we evolve. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place today, but this was an impromptu live session. So I'm sorry if I'm starting thoughts and moving on to other ones before I finish them. But when I came over here, because we were talking about overgrowing that, I'm going to overgrow that extension of the siding there. It comes out of the cold storage, and I wanted to show you the prototype for that. The prototype of the prototype. So this is what it'll look like. I kind of, hey Mike. So it'll have a similar look and feel. The extension coming off that siding. So kind of grungy, overgrown. This one was an abandoned track that wasn't connected to anything. And I ended up, when I added this extension for the CSX, I ended up connecting it. So I've got to clean the tops of the rails off so you can actually run trains on it. It's where I keep my old decrepit former Conrail, now Providence to Worcester caboose that I kit bashed from I don't know what it used to be. Well, it was Conrail. Athearn or Atlas, I don't remember. So I really like that look of the overgrown rails, because everything else is clean on the layout. Talked about vehicles, not having enough vehicles. So I'm starting to try to collect or amass vehicles to give it a little more life. This one's an Audi. I got to put the mirrors on. I got these on trains.com. They've got a lot of good vehicles there, and their prices are reasonable. And also, if you use that 10% discount code that's on my site, you get 10%. But it's all the stuff that you see, Herpa and different brands of cars. What I like about Trains is they have a lot of old, new inventory because they buy out a lot of old shops. I just got this one, another tank car. So that's what's going to happen over here. I just want to give a little more explanation as to what this track is going to be here. Here comes the doodle bug, back and forth, inspecting the rails. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to probably solder up all of the LEDs and put a toggle switch on the fascia for this section, so that when I flip that on, this building will light up, the street lights will light up, the floodlights will light up, the street lights or parking lights will light up, and the little overdoor light there will light up. And that add a lot of pop. And the signal, once that's hooked up again, that'll be going red and green as this train goes back and forth across that block. So I'll be working on doing the wiring, as well as I put these poles in. So I'm going to extend the wire, which is that stretchy easy line, to this pole, and then it's going to throw a line across to power this facility over here. And I've shown these in other videos. I make these just with a bamboo skewer. I put it in my power drill and I rotate it with a piece of sandpaper, and it tapers it. And then that's just a piece of balsa wood. This is styrene rod, real thin. I don't remember the dimension. Yeah, hope everyone's enjoying the snow. Not me. It's nice and warm in Florida. Well, it's not warm, but I'd take 60 degrees over snow, having grown up in Connecticut. The Drew dudes, yeah. So then these are just from Michael's Crafts. They're little beads, I guess you call them. And I put them on little pieces of wire, and they're the insulators. And then transformer's a piece of styrene with those insulators, and then this little insulator comes off, so that the power is going to drop down to the transformer, then over to this, and then it's going to send a line over to that building there. And then what I do with these is I just stain them. I take like a Tamiya buff or brown, and then I mix in some black, either indigo or just black wash, and then wipe it on and wipe it off. And to get it to look like wood grain, I scrape the whole pole with the razor saw, an X-Acto razor saw, and then it makes it look like real wood grain. And then occasionally, like this one, I'll use green, thin green paint, and it gives you the more modern poles, which are pressure treat instead of the black creosote. So a little sidebar on phone poles. In my opinion, it's hard to buy them in a way that looks as detailed as I want them. So anymore, if I want a lot of detail, I just make things. So yeah, I'm gonna wire up these lights. I'll probably get these poles finished, string the wires, and then what I do is I've already painted the track. I spray any added track I spray with Rust-Oleum camo brown. Just gives everything kind of a dusty, rusty look. It's flat. Then I paint all of the Homosoap board with just latex house paint brown, dark brown, and then on that I put all the landscaping. So I'll probably do the painting of the Homosoap today after I wire everything. We'll see how far I get. And I've got a lot of foliage in mind, but that's going to be kind of the last thing I do. Static grass. I'll use more static grass here than I have in the past because I've kind of learned that technique. And then put in the gates. All the soldering of the track and the extensions are done, and the benchwork and the upper light valance is done. That was the hardest part, honestly. So yeah, we're gonna start working on that today, and I'll post you an update. And I think from here I'm gonna, hopefully I'll be able to move into a little bit more posting content on how I do a lot of the detail work and operations. I mean, I think operations, I just haven't done enough because I've been so busy building and trying to finish this thing out. So I'd like to do some quality operations videos where we're really showing the trains at work. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. All right, so with that, I think I'm gonna sign off. I appreciate you taking time on your Sunday, and hope everybody has a blessed, healthy New Year. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon.